All right, Algebra 2, we're going to do the review for the quiz. It's a quadratic formula quiz. So, of course, that involves simplifying radicals. So I'm going to go ahead and start on number 1. I'm going to do every single problem here so that you have help getting this done. Problem 1, square root of 8. The idea is to simplify this into something that's not a decimal, but is whole numbers we can look at. So what do? The process, as always, you basically separate the number into perfect squares. So I know that 8 divided by 2 is 4, and I know that 4 is a perfect square. So I pulled everything apart. I did 4 times 2, pulled it apart. Now the square root of 4 is 2, and then I cannot do anything with my square root of 2, so then the final answer is 2 square root of 2. Moving into problem 2, so when I see something like this, I am just going to automatically break them into separate pieces. That's my preferred method for solving. And I think it's great. So you'll see that I am pulling this all apart. Here we go. Now I'm going to look at this. So there are rules for odd exponents and there are rules for even exponents. They're actually on the board. And I've taught this now so many times that I feel at this point, and it's literally on the board, that there's not much I can do else for you. So figure it out, look at the board, ask for help, and pay attention. So number 20, we're going to split into perfect squares and whatever's left over. So that I know is 4 times 5. So 4 square root of 4 times the square root of 5 is the same thing as that. For this one, I know my process, so I'm going to go ahead and essentially right here break apart this odd one. So when I break apart this odd one, I break it apart as square root of x. Hold up, messed up my pen. Square root of x to the 4th times x to the 1. You'll notice that those add up to be 5. That's how I split it apart. And then the square root of y to the 4. When you have an exponent inside the square root, the rule is you divide by 2. So now I am left with y squared, and the square root goes away. So now let's go through and do this again. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 5 does not simplify. The square root of x to the 4th simplifies to x squared. Remember, the rules are on the board. The square root of x to the 1 does not simplify, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it in there. And then y squared is already simplified. So that's what we're going to be having. So times y squared. Okay, cool. Now let's check all our terms. Can I simplify 2? Nope. Simplify the square root of 5? Nope. X squared? Nope. This is all good to go. So we draw the house. What numbers are in the house? There's a 5 inside. There's an x inside. And then what letters are outside? There's a y squared outside. There's an x squared outside. And then there's a 2 outside. And we have ourselves our answer. Going to number 3, I'm going to go ahead and pull this apart in one go. Square root of 4 times square root of 7. That is 28 is 7 times 4. Times the square root of y to the 8th times square root of y to the 1 times square root of z to the 10. Z to the 10. So I'm going to go through this and evaluate all this. Square root of 4, 2. Square root of 7 does not change. Square root of y to the 8th is y to the 4. Square root of y to the 1 does not change. And then square root of z to the 10, divide that even number by 2, and you have that. So now, I'm checking everything. 2 can't be reduced. Square root of 7 can't be reduced. This is already reduced. Everything's already reduced. So what's inside my house? Numbers first. That's a 7 and a y. So those are gone. And now, what's outside the house? Starting backwards in the alphabet, that's z to the 5. That's y to the 4th. And then the number left over is 2. And we have ourselves a simplification. All right, cool. I'm going to split the other solutions into another video.